You definitely don't want that to happen. No.
Great.
So I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to.
Great.
I don't know if you've got a little bit of your background in there.
I have like a teeny piece just to give some credibility to why I'm talking about PR, which I'm not a PR expert, but.
Well, you helped Charlie.
Yeah. I actually feel like I got the booby prize a little bit going after Joseph on presentation. Like, I don't think I did. I probably did not even 90% of what you suggested. So please don't judge the presentation.
Don't apologize.
Judge the content. I'm hoping it was good. I didn't hear that.
Don't apologize.
Yeah.
That's what Meghan would say.
If you're being balanced on confidence or humility, I'm more on the humility side, which
and you don't have a wallet sticking out your pocket.
I don't.
And you've got a title that makes me think of drugs. So
I
you're
actually
doing great.
feel like this is going to be kick-ass.
All right. Well, the floor is yours.
Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, and just before I do, actually, just on the way over here, I actually learned from Elise, who's Charlie's executive assistant. She brought me over here. Was just explaining a little bit what's happening with the Founders Institute, and I didn't know this is like the group that sort of filtered. I think it started with much bigger and kind of filtered down.
Yeah, about 35. I think 35.
Pretty awesome.
I'm looking at Michael, but I don't know. I mean, it was in the mid 30s.
It was. Just wanted to congratulate you guys because being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing. And I'm going to share a lot of our experiences over 15 years, and basically hope you don't make the same mistakes that we've made because we've made a lot. We're like the longest startup. We were still considered a startup, and we've been around for over 15 years. So definitely excited to actually share this with you guys. It's something we call actually. It's relatively new over the last 12 months, 18 months, but it's our PR strategy, and we call it the Magic PR Circle. So I'm going to take you through what that is. Before I do, I'm not going to talk a lot about Next Jump. I think. So our CEO, Charlie Kim, has been here a few times, and I think pretty well received. Our head of engineering, Tom Fuller, came a few weeks ago and presented to you guys. So it sounds like they both went well, so I feel like I got to keep that trend going. But you probably know a little bit about Next Jump. I won't talk about it. I just wanted to sort of mention we have had some good press over the years, whether it be the New York Times, TechCrunch. We've had some good stuff happen to us, and I'm going to share some examples of actually how we got to this and probably answer some of the questions that were already asked too. But you can stop me and ask me questions throughout, or stop me afterwards. Just a quick bit on myself to Brian's question. I just wanted to give you a sense of kind of who I am and what I do at Next Jump. I'm only flashing this slide because this is actually what I spent almost a decade of my life doing at Next Jump, building our merchant business. So we have a two-sided business. I actually built the merchant side of it. So all the different partners you can imagine, 30,000 partners. But I started as a local sales intern in the summer of '98 selling print ads, which had nothing to do with this. So just very humbled to have gone through the process. I'm now our chief of staff. It was a totally different role than running the merchant group. And what that means now is I pretty much do everything and anything with Charlie. So myself, Charlie, his assistant, we call it the CEO office. And everything cultural, everything revenue related, we basically work as a sort of a unit together and really do everything together. But I think as Brian mentioned, we as a company started, 94 the company started, I started in 98 when it really started to get going. We went up to 200 employees and crashed down to 4. I survived the dot-com bust, and barely. There was 4 of us. It was crazy. Eviction notices, bloody noses, no sleep, not getting paid for a while, and we survived through it. And we built the company back up. It's Charlie Kim, Tom Fuller, head of engineering, myself, and one other individual. So really awesome experience. A lot of pain. I'm going to share with you a lot of experiences that are really even some of them hard to talk about, but hoping that you don't have to repeat some of those. Okay. Why PR? I'm going to do a few slides on why PR just at the high level. I'm not talking about presentation. I'm actually talking about PR, so I took a little bit of a different approach. But to start with, it's about raising money, and I'll go through each one separately. Raising money, getting customers, and attracting and retaining talent. Those are the 3 reasons why most companies do PR. Raising money, investors flock to hot companies, angel investors, institutional investors. They can't get fired for investing in a company that's hot. When you're in the press, you're considered hot, whether it's true or not. It's just that it's like an easier thing to go after. So it's a good thing to do, obviously, to help you get press. Getting the reason to do it. Getting customers. If you're a direct-to-consumer business, it's going to help you get new customers. It's free. Environmental marketing is obviously one of the best forms of marketing because of that. B2B, so it actually helps provide credibility with your existing clients. Helps you get new clients, but even existing clients. And then the third one is attracting and retaining talent. Engineers, and especially in the tech industry, especially engineers and senior leaders, they apply for companies who are hot. You know, hot companies, you're in the press, that's who they want to work for, and they stay when they feel like they're working for a hot company. So obviously the more press you're getting, employees, whether it's right or wrong, they feel like they're working for a hot company. Okay. What's newsworthy? Here's what the majority of press becomes in tech. You're either fundraising or doing an M&A. Unfortunately, you're in demise. They love to talk about demise, right? Or you're a big company. If you're a big company, you're pretty much going to get press on almost anything, right? Products, earnings. I think this weekend I saw like press on the Google Doodle. Like if you press on the O, the L was changing for Father's Day. And it was like press on that. And like it's almost like an unfair advantage because they're going to get press on almost everything and anything they do. But that's for big companies. So obviously you want to get to that stage, but really what ends up happening is fundraising and demise are the main things you get press on. But I'm going to share with you a strategy that I think can help you get press on other stuff. So, okay, I'm going to get to that in 1 second. Here's the advice I think you're going to get. There's 3 things I'm going to talk about. Hire a good PR firm, hire the right senior PR person, and that all press is good press. Basically, as much press as you can possibly get, go for that. All 3 of these things I'm going to go through detail did not work for us at all. And I'm not here to say it can't work for some companies, and I think it can, but it did not work for us. It could have been a timing issue. There's a lot of reasons why. I'm going to explain the examples. So these are like the real examples that you can parse apart for yourself, and hopefully it helps you in some way. Hiring a good PR firm. They typically will tell you to hire a boutique PR firm, like a small enough firm. Obviously you want a really good one, but a small enough one so that you're actually considered a big client. Like the smaller they are, and if you can become a big client of theirs, you're going to get more of their senior talent. You're going to get access to just more of the sort of the better talent that they have. And obviously, you can leverage them for the Rolodex of contacts that they have. That's the main reason why you're actually hiring a PR firm versus doing it yourself. The second, hire the right PR head. Typically, you have to go through a headhunter or an executive search firm to help you do this. And you want to hire somebody that already has reporter relationships. Again, this is all the advice we got over years. And the third one is all press is good press. Basically, speak as many conferences as possible, as many speaking engagements, participate in as many panels as possible, social media stuff, like just basically get your word out as much as possible, talk about who you are. All of it didn't work for us. At the highest level, I'll explain why it didn't work. For the first 2, hiring the PR firm and basically an executive search firm to find you a head of PR, these are vendors, right? Like these are companies that are on a retainer, so you're paying them. And within a 3 to 6 month window, whatever that ends up being, they're going to give you something. Like the PR firm is going to build you and help you build your brand, your strategy, your plan, whether it's right or wrong. And for us, in the example here, I don't think we were quite ready, to be totally honest. And we got a brand and we got a strategy, and it didn't work for us. It was like just not us. And you know, right or wrong, it just didn't come out right for us. We hired one of the best firms on the West Coast. We ended up hiring another firm, one of the best on the East Coast. We spent $250,000 in 18 months later and got nothing out of it. On the hiring the right PR head, we actually hired 2 exec search firms, and I don't want to slam that industry, but what we heard exactly from the exec search firm was, unfortunately, there's not a lot of talent, really good talent in PR, like really good talent. Meaning you're looking for like a diamond in the rough, so this is going to be difficult, and it proved to be very difficult for us. We spent I think it was about $500,000 over the course of 18 months to 2 years, 2 different senior, PR heads, and both didn't work out for us. Not a great experience, but a lesson learned. And then the last one, all press is good press. Basically, go after as much as possible. This definitely didn't work for us. The amount of time and money that goes into like getting yourself and your brand and everything that you're doing in as many random places as possible. We've tried that. It like kind of amounts to nothing. It ends up really doing nothing, and it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of money. And so again, tried it, didn't work. The thing that really went wrong for us here, and one of the other lessons is what they call gotcha reporters. It's dangerous. So what happened to us in 2001, right before the dot-com bust, is we got the front page of the Wall Street Journal. So there's Shirley Kim, young CEO, based on the Wall Street Journal. So cool, awesome. Employees couldn't wait to be part of like the whole process. It was so bad. They basically turned it into like startup companies basically just wasting money, like treating employees for massages and gym memberships, and they basically took everything we're doing and completely turned it and twisted it around. It was one of the worst reviews on us ever, and we actually consider it to be one of the main reasons why we pretty much went down to 4 people, and for effective purposes went out of business in 2002. right after 9/11, pretty much went out of business, and we believe it has a direct result to that. It was bad. It was really bad. I mean, I think we had one of our investors call Charlie, our CEO, and say, I hope and I will work to make sure you never succeed in life. That's how bad. Like, it was so, basically, like, we are wasting investors' money. How could we be doing this? I mean, it was taken out of context. It was awful. And what happens is, he's got to reporters, like, they have a story to tell. You know, they have a story to tell, and they're gonna sort of give you the quote, almost feed you the quote, and sort of bait you in to give them what they want to hear, and then they quote you for it. And it's like, it just was not what we were trying to do. We were young, like actually very young, so that didn't help, and very inexperienced. So like I said, don't make this mistake. This was not good for us. Okay, so what is the magic PR circle? I'm going to get to that, but effectively, what you need to do is and I think this is what Joseph was actually talking about quite a bit. You need to know who you are. You have to have a brand. You have to know what you stand for. You have to like live it, breathe it. It has to be on the walls of your office. It has to be absolutely everywhere. Like, it can't be, I kind of know it, I'm not sure. You can't have to use a presentation to be able to explain it. You have to know what your brand is, or this is what you become. So, again, we're in a room of friends here. I don't know if you guys all saw the movie, A Pretty Woman. Richard Gere basically asks Julia Roberts, what's your name? And she says, whatever you want it to be, right? She's a prostitute, right? This is not good. This is not what you want to be. This is not good. It's like a reporter coming through saying, who are you? What do you want to be? What are you guys doing? And like, you don't know. And when you don't know, like, they start wanting you to comment on, what are your thoughts on social? What are your thoughts on local? What are your thoughts on mobile? And you actually start answering, right? And you think you're like an expert, and you really are not. You don't really know. And it's not real authentic, but the reporter's there, so you're answering, and they actually kind of bait you into this. And I don't think it's always malicious, but they're trying to get a story, and so they're asking you these things, and you don't know. The whole point is you don't want to be a prostitute. You don't want to just wherever the wind blows. And a lot of, I think, young founders they want to get a story, they want to get press, and so they kind of go wherever the wind blows them. Not good. You have to know who you are. It has to be foundational. It has to be so solid. So here's the magic circle, right? This is the big ta-da. Obviously, it's not super pretty, but this is the magic circle, and this is so. Gabe, actually, you're in here, so I hope you don't mind. I used you in the presentation as an example. This is so counterintuitive. Our approach to PR, right, is actually starting with our employees. Most people are focused on how do I get more customers, how do I get reporters. That's the outcome. You want more customers, you want reporters to talk about you, you have to obsess and care and focus on your employees. It all starts with your employees. If your employees do not know what you stand for, your brand, when an influencer like Gabe comes in to talk to you about what you're doing, and he talks to different employees, and it's not authentic and it's not real, he's going to sniff it out and he's going to run. He's never going to come back again. And people like Gabe, different influencers in your space, will actually introduce you to reporters. And the reporters obviously get you the press and will get you new customers. So it's not, I think somebody asked the question, I think you asked the question, how do you sort of like, can I go directly Alexander to reporters? Like, you can, and I don't think that you can't not do that, but like, imagine the reporter comes in and they start asking you, so who else in the space validates this? I think another question, do you have a third-party expert or somebody credible that can validate this? I'd like to go speak to them. Well, you have to hurry up and go build a relationship with someone like Gabe. That's not going to happen. You actually have to have a long-term focus in building relationships. It has everything to do with relationships. You actually have to start with building relationships and with your employees and having them understand. Influencers have to feel it. Those influencers over time, this is what it takes time. It's a long-term strategy. If you guys are building a company because you want to be doing it forever, it's a long-term strategy. It may not pay off for years, but you have to actually start that investment now. Those influencers will introduce you to reporters. Reporters introduce you, obviously, or get you access to customers. So I'm going to give you an example of this to make it come to life a little bit. I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on this, but this is our brand. We do believe it actually could be the universal and is the universal formula for what every company and how they should run, but I'm not going to stand on the podium and talk about it. But what we call it is better me plus better you plus better us. It's basically saying every employee needs to grow. When you grow and you feel like you're growing like a weed, you will actually spill over and give to others, actually help others. It's the better you, it'll make a better world. Better me plus better you plus better us. And it has a lot to do with the origin of our CEO and the source of his drive, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but that is our brand. And everybody knows it. Every employee at NextJump feels it, lives it. And so when you walk through the walls at NextJump, Bloomberg came and did a press conference at our office, I think about a year ago. When you walk in on our 7th floor, you see pictures of our employees all over the walls. You see all of our recognition awards. You see our vacation policies and where all of our employees have gone on vacation. You can't come to NextJump and not feel the company, the culture. It's such a strong culture. Our culture is our brand. Our culture is our product. It's so authentic. You can feel it. There's like no mistaking it. When you walk in and the influencer walks in, they feel it right when they walk in, right through the front door. And we use the walls like canvas. We actually got the insight. I have a son at preschool. When I was sort of, it's crazy in New York City how you have to interview for 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds to go to school. But one of the schools that I loved, I was like, God, you know, it's like everything is on the walls, what all the kids are doing, and it feels so real. What they're saying they're doing, they're actually doing it because it's on the wall. So it's so authentic. It matches up what you say, what you do, and do what you say. And so we started doing the same thing in our office. We just started posting everything that we do everywhere. Everything that we do as a company that circles around our Better Me plus you, everything that we do is on our walls. So we use the walls like canvas. If the preschool and if NextJump said, you know, go to our website to see what we do and our culture and understand it, it's like you just don't always go. But when you walk in, you feel it. 5 more minutes, okay. Okay, so for instance, I'm going to tell you how the magic circle works. This is where Gabe, I think, comes in. Here's how it started. Okay. We're focused and obsessed on our employees and actually how to help them grow, the better me. Big part of that is fitness. We believe fitness and well-being is critical to anybody's growth and to their happiness, fulfillment, and everything. So we actually years ago invested in, we actually have a fitness center in our office, and we invested in what we call a fitness portal. So we have a bunch of engineers who built a fitness portal. It tracks how many times you're working out during the week. It's a whole motivation system behind it. You have to work out twice a week. You're on a team. Your team peer pressures you like crazy. And we have 90% of our employees actually work out twice a week. So basically, our CEO met Gabe, I think had a 5-minute conversation, I think mentioned this, right? And I think Gabe came in and he was like, you guys are doing gamification. We had never even heard the word gamification. I think this was maybe about a year ago. I think Charlie goes and speaks at the G Summit. Before you know it, the New York Times, then Gabe made an introduction, somehow talked to somebody at the New York Times. The New York Times comes and does a story on our fitness and what we do at NextJump. It's a whole video about it. And before you know, we have employees and customers calling us saying, did you guys know you're on JetBlue? When everybody's coming into New York City on JetBlue, this is the back of the seat. There's a video of NextJump's fitness and how we've gamified fitness and how 90% of your employees are working out. We had no idea, no intention. Employees led to influencers, influencers led to reporters, reporters led to customers. It's a longer term strategy, but when you get it right, like this happens really fast for us. So more testimonials, we have obviously more employees saying, that was just an example. We have employees basically saying, I feel like I'm working on a rocket ship, I don't care what seat I have. We have influencers like Jim Lear, who has like 16 best-selling books saying you guys are actually going to be referenced as a turning point in how companies are run. We have reporters talking about how we're the healthiest company to work for. And we recently experienced a company, I think it's out of our UK operation, saying that NextJump is an entrepreneurial business, very focused around giving back to its community, embracing employee well-being, very much a Google mindset of trying to be creative and injecting fun. We didn't say that, but they feel that from how they work with it. I mean, our culture is through the employees talk to clients, our products, it's just seeping throughout our entire business, and they feel it, and they actually put it into their own words. We never use those words. So the Magic PR Circle, again, just to kind of sum it all up, start with your employees. This doesn't have to be your brand, but that's what we did. By doing that, all these influencers, Simon Sinek, and this is in our industry. This may not, I don't know your business models. This is in our industry, what we care about for our brand. All these people start to be interested, and they're influencers. So they start to get you access to reporters, and then all of a sudden, you get customers. Like, that's how it works. You have to invest in the process of your employees first, influencers, which will get you the outcome of reporters and new customers. And we don't solicit. We have our PR firm right now, there's no PR firm. The PR team is myself with no background in PR whatsoever, and Charlie's executive assistant who's 23 is being promoted to run our branding team. It's like a homegrown small team. That's what it is right now. And we're getting more press than we've ever had before. Okay, so what happened when we really got it right, and this is at the bottom line. So I mentioned in the beginning, there's 3 things of why PR, what it'll do for you. It helps you raise money, it helps you get new customers, and it will help you attract and retain your employees. So working backwards, retention in the last year when we got this right, we started doing this and declaring our brand and what we do, went from 40% to 1%. 40%. So this is mainly an engineering organization. 75% of our employees are engineers from the best schools in the country, especially on the East Coast, Cornell Public. 40% turnover last year to 1%. 90% of the employees say they love their job. Last year it was 20%. I, for one, was one to say I like it. And this person asked me, do you love it? I like it. I love it now. 90% of employees love it because they understand why we're here, what we're trying to do. It's better me. We're trying to help others. It's so fulfilling for employees. They're so engaged. Revenue. This is what's awesome. Attracting customers. Customers leading to revenue for us. We've had almost 3 times growth year over year in the last 12 months. Our growth went from 25% close to 60% in actual revenue bottom line. It's awesome, right? And so the kind of the question you're probably asking is like, what did it? And what was the real tipping point? We defined our brand and we documented it on our walls. So if you do anything else, like that's sort of like the beginning of this magic PR circle, starting with your employees. Define it and document it and like live it. And that's it. So the last quote I was just going to leave you with from Simon Sinek, actually, who wrote a book called Start with the Why, like the #3 TED Talk out there. Customers will never love a company unless the employees love it first. And that's it.
Question? There's a lot in that.
Yeah.
For a lot of these founders, I mean, obviously you're so early stage. You haven't hired a PR firm. And hiring a PR firm, I don't think is necessarily the step that these guys should take. Do you have a point of view on some maybe low cost or easy things that they might want to consider just based on your experience from being at the ground and now being at a much higher place?
So I definitely feel like PR firm, obviously based on our experience, is not. It could be for some, but like for us, it wasn't right. What we find is that PR is very similar to sales. Like it's like you're selling the company and the brand and what you do. So it's really if you like, it's just selling your company. So anybody who has like a passion for the company can do it. And I think it has like a mystique of being like very difficult to do, and it can be, but like if you're passionate about your company and you understand the brand, anybody can do it. So, I just encourage, I mean, I don't know, if you have 1, 2, 3 employees, like everybody can do it. And it actually just takes time to fumble around a little bit. And again, like I said, the advice we have is to start with your employees. Like you have to build the brand. How to build the brand, I think, is kind of maybe some of where the question is coming. The brand usually stems from the origin of the CEO or the founder of the company, because like your brand is usually an extension of the CEO, and our brand definitely is an extension of our CEO. But it took almost 18 years for us to figure this out, because the reason why he started the company is very different than why he's doing it now. He started it to like pay high school sweetheart bills, phone bills. He's not even married to her. It's not why he's doing it. He's actually, he's doing it as a bigger story behind his dad. He's like been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize multiple times, hasn't won. He's the father of corn, if you look him up in the Encyclopedia Britannica. He's basically trying to solve world hunger. I mean, this guy, and so, like, Charlie's always wanted to help his dad, hasn't had a chance to help his dad. His dad's probably at this point getting a lot older, not going to be able to do it, and he wants to be able to help other people like his dad, who just needed something small. His dad's bad at presenting, and that's the main reason why he didn't win. And so Charlie's this little things to help others do the great things. That's what we're trying to do. We want to help others do, these little things.
Can I just throw this around for you guys? So
Yeah.
What, if you had to characterize Megan's talk today with one word, what's the first word that comes to mind?
Passion.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah? Authenticity was another one?
Care.
Okay. Others. What? Others.
Value.
Value. Okay. Any other assorted thoughts about it?
Give.
What?
Give.
Give. Okay.
Humility.
Now, first of all, what an awesome set of things to have somebody say about something that you say, right? That was an incredibly glowing response. In addition to that, I will add, knows her material inside out and backwards, right? So if you can get up and give a talk, now admittedly Megan's had the benefit of working on this particular product as her passion for like a long time. But if you can get up and channel 70% of that, knowing your material, passion, care, authenticity, integrity in a discussion, you absolutely positively will people want to buy whatever it is that you're pitching. I mean, you kind of like, all of you I'm sure are like, okay, working next jump would be a not bad backup plan, right? After listening to that talk.
We're hiring, but we have a no firing policy, so we're hiring really carefully right now.
Yeah.
It's a whole other topic.
Right? So you don't need 15 years to get to that point with the subject matter. Every single one of you is an expert in the material that you yourself are pitching. But if you can, that to me is like a critical takeaway of this.
Yeah.
How can you get to that same level of energy?
By the
You
way,
should teach classes on that, Megan.
yeah, so this is funny because like, very nervous about doing this. I actually don't talk about PR. I haven't presented this. We've been doing this without actually calling it anything and organizing it, and basically because of this presentation figured out what we were doing and came up with a magic PR circle, and it actually happened to be working. Like, this is what's crazy. It wasn't, but it's because we've been living and breathing it, and I was like, God, we're trying to, and so PR has almost been on the back burner for us, but we started to figure it out, and we just started to organize it, because of the presentation it forced me to figure out what do we actually do
This is
in
the kind of
organizing
thing that
it.
Brian, this is the effect that Brian has on companies.
Yeah.
On $100 million company. He shows up and next thing you know, it's trash.
There we go. There we go. If only. No, but I think the big piece that's resonating through all of this is the passion and purpose.
Yeah.
It's passion and purpose that really has to come through. You have to absolutely love what it is that you're doing. A lot of people who start a fund institute, they have a bunch of different ideas, they're not sure what to do, where to go. And if you're not so committed to this idea, you just can't convey that. You want to be like Meghan when you come up and you present, because it's infectious. You want to be associated. You want to be a part of that. I will gladly drink this Kool-Aid. You know?
Yeah.
So.
And I really think it has everything to do with this better man. Of course, it's terrible me doing this way, but like I just wouldn't underestimate. I mean, like I said, 40% turnover a year ago. This past, and I admittedly would say I liked my job a lot. I didn't love it, and it's because we didn't Charlie was always a CEO, really trying to do good things for employees, but because we never organized it and declared it as we're trying to help you grow as a person, so that you can help others. The main purpose why we're on this earth, and actually what makes us feel good, is helping others. Like even being here tonight, makes me feel good. I feel like I'm helping. That's why you're here. And so when we declare that's what we're trying to do, and every initiative we have is either under Better Me or Better You as an investment, I started to realize, oh my God, I'm working for not that I didn't know, it's but until somebody says, do you know this is what we're doing, and starts organizing, our mentorship programs under Better Me, our CEO talks, we invite people in, Better You, we have a Code for a Cause initiative where we help charities 2 weeks out of the year building products for free. We're adopting a charity actually. Starting next week, they're coming into our company. We're doing, and then people say, "Oh my God, that's what you've been trying to do for years. I didn't realize." And they start to say, "Wow, that's really awesome." You actually have to tell people, "This is what I'm doing," And then people start to be like, "Wow, this is really cool. I love it." And 20% to 90% saying I love my job within a year window, and it has everything to do with declaring this brand and putting it all over the wall. So definitely would encourage you. If anything, it's to declare the brand. Again, this could be a universal formula, no pride in authorship. You could totally steal this. Simon Sinek actually was part of helping us figure out this when we sort of talked about the whole purpose of why you're here on Earth. He helped us. We believe it's universal. We want every company to run this way. We're like a teaching organization. We hope that everybody starts adopting this, because what else could you want to grow? You want to help others. That's why you're here on this Earth. So if every company did this, I think we'd solve a lot of problems in the world. A lot of problems, probably every problem would get fixed if people were happier at their job.
We all have our mantra now, so.
Yes.
The slide will be up tomorrow.
I just want to add that there's 3 quick things. One thing is passion and purpose ultimately equal culture, and that's the word I would have used. Besides passion would have been my first. Is the inside out. It's the culture, it's the DNA of the company, and that feeds out the whole circle. That was the one thing. The other thing is. It's interesting what you said, because you actually created the circle, the magic PR circle, in a presentation, and I was jotting down. It's actually like the reverse secret.
Right.
And it's not that it's the reverse. By creating it, it's almost defined and created a process for your company.
Totally.
And so sometimes the discipline in the process of creating a slide and then putting it on the walls.
Right.
And then the third thing is, in terms of also your presentation style, when you were in the zone, subject matter expertise. You were just, you absolutely just absolutely powering forward, self-effacing, which is amazing to to say this didn't work for us.
Yeah.
But then you killed in
Yeah.
terms of saying results,
Work, right.
which is not just talk, you walk the talk.
Back it up, right.
And, you know,
Yeah.
that's a sale.
Yeah, gotta back it up.
Matt, you had a question?
I did, but this time, are you going to the bar?
Yes, I'm coming to the bar.
I don't have more questions.
Yes.
Well, thank you for
you.
inspiring
Thank
us
you.
all. Speaking of the bar,